So I just do have one more question about the clip of President Biden that Ryan referenced earlier, where President Biden references the child. And this is a long-standing debate in the pro-choice movement about sort of rhetoric, how to refer. Do you just sort of openly say, what, if you think it's a child, do you refer to it as a child? There's a Naomi Wolf essay from like 1995 where she talks about this. And I was at the Supreme Court the other night. It did seem like there was increasing comfort with saying, this is a woman's right. You may think it is a life, but it is a woman's right even so. How have you seen that sort of shift, and where do you come down on that question of, when President Biden referred to a child?
I think it's a strange thing to do, to refer to a fetus as a child. I think it's the question of whether we should, how we should think about or talk about what is true about, what's happening inside a woman's body when she's pregnant and the state of a fetus. It feels like a total distraction to me, because the bottom line is that the decision and the need to have an abortion varies. I mean, the reasons can be extremely complicated. They can come at very different stages. And there's just no reason for the government to play or any sort of role in figuring out where a line is, when it's acceptable to determine when and if a woman can have abortion. This is healthcare. This is a conversation that should be happening between the pregnant person and their doctor.
The woman.
I'm sorry?
I said the woman and her doctor.
Okay, as we know, there are people who can be pregnant who do not identify as women. So no, I wouldn't just limit it to women. I would say anybody who can become pregnant should be able to make that decision with their doctor. There's just no point at which we need to have government intervention. And and frankly, it ties the hands of people who are trying to serve both, right? People want everybody involved in here to be healthy and to have healthy, and to have healthy lives and be able to survive something like this. It's just unacceptable that we would want to put restrictions in place that could possibly lead to a pregnant person dying. That there's no way to ground that in ethics. There's no way to ground that in anything that makes sense. So
Sure. No, the last thing I'll say is just if you see it as a life, it makes more sense. It complicates the equation significantly, I would say. But if you have disagreement on that point, then that it totally makes sense.